had started preparing something. Okay, there it goes. I had started preparing something, and I just started going into these rabbit holes, probably because of my ADHD, if I'm being honest. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and speak from the heart, and just kind of feel the vibe of the group. And so one thing that is coming up, that's coming to my mind right now, is the importance of meeting yourself where you are. And so I want you to kind of role play something in your head with me, if you will. If a friend came to you and told you, friend, I have a lot of anxiety, I have a lot of depression, I'm not doing so well in life right now, what should I do? As a good friend, what you would do really, I know all of you would, is meet that person where they're at, meet them with compassion, right? And love, and support. And so in your mind, I want you to think of how you speak to yourself when you're in those same shoes. And you might notice that the way you speak to yourself versus the way you speak to your friends or a loved one is totally different. And so I see most of y'all nodding your head, because you probably agree that we are less compassionate with ourselves. And so as a clinician, I always tell my clients that when they come in, they already know, they already have the answers within them. They have the potential to make the changes that they want. My job as a clinician, as a mental health professional, is to help you realize that and to teach you the tools to get there. But the potential is already there. So that's number one. Number two, I really want to kind of throw a word out there so that you guys can really think about something, which is resiliency. I mentioned that with ADHD in Jason's story, that resiliency is key. It's not something that you acquire. It's not something that just comes, when you, it's not this magical, mystical, like virtue that you need to go and climb up a really tall mountain for. Resiliency is already within you. You already have it. And you have made it this far in life, probably because of resiliency. And so I want you to think about all those things. Think about all those struggles that in your mind were probably really small at the time, but are really, really big deals, So for example, divorce, right? My mom actually just went through a divorce herself, and she made it out, intact, and it was a very difficult process. But I reminded her at the end how much energy it took to get to where she's at now, and to not take that lightly, to be proud of the work that you put in, to be proud of the way that you were resilient, even if it doesn't feel that way to you. It's part of growth. And so number one, I really wanted to talk about being compassionate with ourselves. Number two, recognizing that we are all resilient. And number three, I'm just going to go ahead and end with this, is to have a growth mindset, right? I would say that the number one attribute out of all my clients that I see that really puts them in a pathway of success is to have a growth mindset. It's to have a mindset of, I have the potential to change, and I'm going to do what it takes, even though it might hurt, it might feel uncomfortable, but that's called having a growth mindset. And we often tell kids to do that, but then we don't do it ourselves. So it just kind of ties in with the whole ADHD discussion as well. And just one little last tidbit before I go. Every single person on this earth will have some form of a mental health disparity. At one point in their life, they are going to experience some type of mental health condition, whether it be low dose of anxiety, whether it be ADHD, whether it be depression, whether it be grief. Every person on this earth is not exempt from a struggle in mental health. And so I really, really encourage everyone to, one, be resilient, and to meet yourself where you are. Thank you so much.